Hello everyone, welcome back. Beta, as you know that we are doing chapter number 2, Rights in the Indian Constitution from the book Indian Constitution at Work. This is part 6 of this chapter. So let's continue. Today we will learn about the relationship between fundamental rights and directive principles given on page number 45 to 47 of your NCERT book. As you know, we have already learnt about the meaning of fundamental rights and directive principles. Beta, as it is written over here, fundamental rights are the essential rights of all the citizens of the country, while directive principles are the guidelines which are referred while formulating policies and laws of the country. Fundamental rights and directive principle both are considered complementary to each other and have a common focus, that is the nation's progress. Both have been adopted to fulfill the dreams of a welfare state and to keep the promises made while making the constitution of the country. The fundamental rights and directive principles aims for social, economic and political progress of the nation and its citizens. Now we will talk about that fundamental rights restrain the government from doing certain things, while directive principle exhort the government to do certain things. Beta, fundamental rights basically protects individual rights, while directive principles works for the whole society. And because of this, directive principles sometimes come in conflict with the fundamental rights of the citizen. We will understand this point with the help of example. It includes abolition of zamindari system, and next we will talk about right to property. Beta, the system of land holding and tax collection by zamindars is known as zamindari system. Even after the British rule ended, these zamindars had huge land under their control. But for development, because India got independence from British rule at that time, government requires various lands. During that time, there was one fundamental right enjoyed by the people, that was right to property. And according to this right, every person can acquire, possess and maintain its property. But in Constitution, there was one provision that if the government wants land for public development, they can take or use the lands which were given to the individual. So government started acquiring land from different people and starting limiting right to property. And beta, this thing brings danger on fundamental rights. And this thing generated another complicated debate. This related to the amendment of the constitution. The government was saying that parliament can amend any part of the constitution, while the court was saying that parliament cannot make an amendment that violated fundamental rights. But this controversy was settled by an important decision of the Supreme Court in Keshavananda Bharati case. In this case, the court said that there are certain basic features of the constitution and these cannot be changed by parliament. But in 1978, the 44th Amendment to the Constitution was passed, which removed the right to property from the list of fundamental rights and converted it into a simple legal right under Article 300A. Now our last topic is fundamental duties. When our Constitution was framed, fundamental duties were not a part of it. But later in 1976, with 42nd Amendment means change, that being citizens of India, we possess certain duties. For example, that we must abide by the Constitution, defend our country, promote harmony among all citizens, protect the environment, etc. But these are not legally enforceable. Means if a person can't follow it, you can't file a case against him. But being a good citizen, we should perform our duties properly. So this is all about today. We learned about the relationship between fundamental rights and directive principles, fundamental duties of citizens. In the end, this is your home task. Please do it in your register. So with this, we are end with this chapter. Have a nice day, everyone.